Hello everyone, it's Fred here and welcome to the Canadian Island Life channel. In this episode, I'm going to sizzle up some gluten-free burgers with some sauteed mushrooms and onions and a side of barbecue potatoes. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on channel notifications so you don't miss more great episodes like this. Start off with some diced red onions. A couple of fresh eggs. A little bit of barbecue sauce. Some caraway seed. Gives it a nice flavor. Some chili powder. Costco special. And some roasted garlic. Don't lick the spoon. And some salt. Doesn't have to be kosher salt, I just happen to have some. Now we're going to take everything, we're going to mix it all up inside of our pot. You don't have to put it in the pot, I just do because sometimes I don't have a bowl for everything. And pot works good, it's a non-porous thing, so if I'm working with raw meat, it's easy to clean up afterwards. Some people like to put in some oatmeal or some breadcrumbs. This is gluten-free, so we'll throw in some rice instead. We've got everything all mixed up, now we're going to add the hamburger. Depending where you get your hamburger, you might want to throw in some regular hamburger because don't forget, you got to get a little bit of fat in there to get some of that flavor. And now we're going to mix this stuff up, and the key to keeping these burgers from falling apart is mixing it and kneading it, and I mean kneading it like as in bread, like K-N-E-A-D, not the other knead. You want to knead this stuff, you want to work it, you want to mash it. You want to go at it for about 5 to 7 minutes, and when you're all done, the consistency of it changes and it becomes all one clump of meat, and that's what keeps it from falling apart on the barbecue. It's not breadcrumbs, it's not eggs, it's the kneading of the meat. And I think you can see the texture of it has changed since we started. If you're weakling like me, your arm gets sore after a little while, you gotta switch hands. Yeah, look at that. You can see the texture is quite a bit different. Alright, so we're going to take some out, and we're going to start rolling it like a $6 million man, and make it into some patties. I want to flatten them out, we just want to make sure that they're all the same thickness all the way through. And you see, even that was stuck onto the pan, I was still able to pull and tug at it, and it still didn't come apart. That's how well these are stuck together now that they've been kneaded. And we'll just keep doing this. This batch makes about 10 good-sized burgers. I think I had about 2.5 pounds of hamburger to start with. And we'll just keep doing that, and then I'll throw some saran wrap on top of there and put another layer with 3 or 4 more. So, next thing we want to do is make up some sauteed onions and mushrooms. So the next thing I'm going to do is just going to slice up some condiments here for later on. So we'll slice up some red onion, and we'll slice up some of this tomato. I love tomato. Now we're going to slice up some more onion. And we're going to slice up these mushrooms, and we're going to make this sauteed mushroom and onions. This dish is so delicious. I call it candy. These sauteed mushrooms and onions, I call them candy, even though they're not candy. They're just so delicious. It's wait till you have them. So we'll try to leave the onions in bigger chunks. We don't want them to break down. So we're probably going to saute these and simmer them for about an hour. Just break up all the chunks so they're separated. And we're going to take the onions and just slice them in half, and then we'll take each half and quarter it. So I guess that's eighths. Here again, we don't want to chop them up too small or they'll just kind of disappear as we cook them down. Just watch your fingers. Those in the pan, and we got 4 more. There we go. And we're going to throw in a little bit of salt. And that seemed like a little too much. Throw a bit in the sink. Garlic powder, that's one of the big ingredients here. Just take the lid off and dump some in. There we go. Olive oil. Use a fair bit of that, probably 1/3 of a cup. And then the number one ingredient, some red wine. And it can be any red wine, but the more bold the flavor, the better. That's why I chose a Malbec for this one. Plus it was open. Alright, we'll mix everything together and make sure it's mixed up evenly and nice so that all the pieces got all the various different seasonings on them. And then we can let this simmer for a while we go out and get the barbecue going. This will probably simmer for about an hour. So we'll put it on the stove. We'll start it off high, but then we'll just turn it down to like a medium-high, medium-low kind of thing. Stirring it occasionally, and eventually all the juices will boil out of it and we'll be left with a caramelized treat. Alright, so now we're going to work on the potatoes, and we're just going to take these little mini whites and we'll quarter them. We don't want to make them too small, but if we get them into quarters, then they cook a little bit faster and there's a little more surface area that soaks up that smoky richness from the barbecue. Now we'll take some regular white onion or Spanish onion, whatever you got. Dice that up to a medium. Oh, and some fresh garlic. So the nice thing about this garlic is it's aged just right, that is dry enough that you can just cut the end off. And then if you just give it a crack, put some pressure on it, you can just squeeze the garlic out of the skin and throw the skin away. No fuss, no muss. That's what I like. If it's too fresh, the skin sticks to it and you can't get it off. If it's too old, it's sometimes rotten inside. And we're going to mince this up fairly fine. I could have used the stuff from the fridge, the pre-minced, no-name stuff, but I like fresh garlic. There we go. Now we're going to add some seasoning, so we'll give it a little bit of parsley. Come on. Up you go. And some Italian seasoning. It's just an old jar. I like to save the old jars, and I just buy the no-name seasonings and put them in the old jars. And then we'll take some more salt. Good thing my blood pressure's low. And some olive oil. And once again, we'll just mix everything up nice and evenly. Get everything coated with the olive oil and the seasonings. $6 Million Man style. I'm just going to dump this in a bowl and stick it in the fridge for now, and then when I get out to the barbecue, we'll go at her. I think that bowl was from the 70s. Leave me a comment if anybody else has got one of those bowls. It's a little bit rare to see these days. There we go, we'll cover that up. And we're just going to check on these onions and mushrooms. They're starting to boil down a little bit. Stir them up. Put the lid back on, and we'll head out to the barbecue. And these burgers, they're so intact that you can just pick them up. They don't fall apart. Potatoes are looking good. So I got this old frying pan that the handle broke off, or something happened to it. And I use that in the barbecue now. If you don't have something like that, you can always put them in tin foil. That works too. But this being open gets a little bit more of the smoky flavor into it, and I like that. And it's looking good already. And we'll check on our sauteed onions and mushrooms. It's going to add some more garlic to it and stir it in. Otherwise, we're looking pretty good. Still look a little bit red from the red wine, but once they get caramelized, they turn a darker color, if not almost black. That's when they taste the best. Let's check on the burgers. Looking good. I'm at a point in my life where I like to turn my burgers over in such a way that I get that crosshatch pattern on that looks kind of nice. Like that. That one looks good. Look at that one. That one too. Looks like you're eating at the Ponderosa, huh? Oh, and look at these things. They're starting to get boiled down now. They're starting to get a little bit more fried and caramelized. They're I would say just about done. And burgers, I would say they are done. I've got to put a couple on the top rack. The rest of them are looking pretty good. I'll just scoop them up and we'll get ready to eat. Well, thanks a lot for coming along on this episode. I don't know about you, but I can't wait to dig in. Please leave me any questions or comments. I'd love to hear from you. And don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. And we'll see you in the next episode of Canadian Island Life. Oh, look at those mushrooms. Delicious.